Hi everyone, welcome back to another Sunday stock scan video. Today we're going to get started with the S&P 500. So on the weekly chart, see the last 2 weeks, the last 3 weeks really, we've had quite a sustained rally. We've got bullish divergence currently developing. If we go down onto the daily time frame, I highlighted last week that until we broke above this high, we're still a bearish market structure. However, now you can see we had the lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and now we've got this higher high. We are currently testing this level, which was former support, former resistance. So a break above here with a retest would signal to me further upside in this rally. That's about it for the S&P. Move on. AMD, this was a play that we entered last week. We had the sort of descending channel slash wedge with confirmed bullish divergence on the daily time frame. We have now since broken above or broken out of the supply line of the wedge. If we go onto the 4 hour, we can see that price is sort of moving in this rising channel. It'd be really good to see a break above this. You could interpret this as a bear flag at the moment, but still looking quite bullish. We've got earnings on Tuesday, so hopefully we get a good beat and we can continue to the upside and hit our first target at the 0.382 fib, and then we've got our second target at the 0.618 fib. This is the direction daily semiconductor bear inverse ETF, which tracks semiconductor stocks. We noticed last week that we had this sort of ascending, broadening wedge formation with the bearish divergence. So that has, well, it looks like it's broken down, but we also need to look out for this potential hidden bullish divergence which is developing. So really what we want to be seeing is, we want to be seeing this level, this low getting broken to invalidate this divergence and ideally continue down to this support level. That would bode well for our AMD play. Moving on, we've got the ARK Innovation ETF. We also entered a position in this last week, so I don't have my targets set out on this, but we did have triple bullish divergence on the daily MACD. We got the breakout of the wedge, so now we're looking to target this resistance level here, and our second target will be the top of the wedge. So yeah, it'd be good to see some continuation and upside on this one as well. We've got the kind of inverse ETF of ARK, SARK. This was in an ascending channel, so sort of just the inverse. Well, this is obviously what you'd expect as it is inverse ETF. But we had the bearish divergence as well, which played out. We've got the break and the retest, so this looks good for continuation to the downside, which would mean continuation to the upside in our ARK long. Next up, ISEE. So this short position I entered last week, I get stopped out. I have since moved about my lines and moved about an entry position. We're looking at potentially getting triple bearish divergence if MACD flips to green. We're already at new highs, so as long as it doesn't go above this high on the oscillator, then we'd have the triple bearish divergence. I've been stopped out once, so I would need to get more confirmation before re-entering. If we go into the 4 hour, we can see that we've got that triple divergence on the 4 hour. So if this is to flip back red and confirm, then I'd maybe be looking to enter in this again. But until then, I'm going to stay clear. Moving on. So these next three that I'm going to talk about are sort of longer term potential positions that I've identified. I think I spoke about this one last week. If I just go to the chart only, STNE. So this is massively beaten down from all-time highs. We're talking it's down just about 90%. So what we can see is at the bottom we've got an ascending triangle pattern forming. And inside that ascending triangle we've also got this kind of falling wedge with daily hidden bullish divergence developing. Now ideally I would have liked to have seen another move down to this demand line. I would have taken a position here, but now I'm going to watch for a break to the upside of this ascending wedge. This stock I'm looking at more for a sort of long-term investment rather than a swing trade. I think there's certainly lots of potential upside in this play in the next coming years. If we turn on the 100 and 200 exponential moving averages, we can see that we're getting very, very close to a bullish cross, with the 100 still sitting below the 200, but looks like it's going to be moving above soon. So yeah, this is definitely one to keep an eye on for in the future. Just turn these off just now and moving on. We've got TOST. So this is kind of similar to the previous one I've just shown, but what we've got here at the bottom is almost like an inverse head and shoulders. So we've got the one shoulder here, we've got the head here, and we've got the second shoulder here with the neckline here. We look like we're testing a breakout and retest of the neckline at the moment. We've had the bullish exponential moving average crossover, which is increasing my chances of taking a long position in this stock. Just like before, there's massive potential to the upside. So yeah, this is one to watch for the coming weeks. Moving on, we've got WRBY. Similar to STNE, you've got an almost ascending triangle bottom formation. If we just take away that fib level just now, you see that there's plenty of potential for upside. We're not yet looking at an exponential cross. However, price has nearly reclaimed this 100 EMA. Obviously, it only IPO'd back in September 21st, so there's not much data with the moving average, but it definitely has got some bullish indicators at the moment. Moving on, we've got grab. Now this is another one massively beaten down, but it looks to be forming a kind of bottom. We've got this range here. Price is forming a falling wedge with divergence, and we've got a double bottom. Well, more like a 1, 2, 3, 4, more like a 5 bottom. I don't know what you call that. But we're getting the bounce off the bottom of this range with the falling wedge and the divergence. So this, in terms of risk to reward, looks like a good trade. Personally, how I'd be playing this is I'd be taking a long, and I'd be setting my stop loss below the most recent low, and I'd be targeting the high of this range. So you're looking at just about a 4 risk to reward trade, which would be lovely. Moving on, LU. So this is a Chinese stock, and as the Chinese indexes have been getting an absolute hammering over the past couple of months, just so has this stock. Now, something I want to mention, if we look at it on the weekly, it is forming this sort of descending wedge formation. But what I want to point out is, on the weekly volume, this is looking increasingly like capitulation. So what you see is, in big stocks, after a massive downtrend, you're going to get to a point where the majority of the investors who are still holding will start to panic and think that this is going to zero, or it's never going to recover, and we need to get out now. We need to sell everything we've got now, and we need to make sure, we don't lose everything. So that's what you're seeing. You're seeing an increase in volume, massive spike of volume in this weekly candle. But what's interesting is there's not, with all this volume, you're not seeing a big bodied candle, you're not seeing a massive sell-off. What you're seeing in this weekly candle is massive indecision. You've got this big doji candle with a small body, wick to the upside, wick to the downside. So this is showing you there's massive indecision in this weekly candle, but huge volume. We could class this as an anomaly, because with high volume we'd expect to be seeing a big move. Also on the weekly, we've got developing bullish divergence. Price is making new lows, whilst the oscillator is making higher lows. Obviously, this isn't confirmed. We need to keep watching this over the next coming weeks to see if it will develop further. But if we go into the daily, you can see that we've actually got confirmed. I'll just delete this just now. We've got confirmed bullish divergence on the daily MACD. And if we just quickly check the financials of this stock, so PE ratio of 1.79. It's a profitable stock. It's got a 34% dividend yield. I don't know how truthful this is, because that seems insanely high. But the fact that it's got a 1.79 PE ratio alone tells me that this stock does not belong at this low evaluation. So I will be looking at possibly scaling into positioning this over the next coming weeks. Next up, VUZI. So on the daily, we can see we've got this really important level. It was support back here, it was resistance here, and then we broke through before getting this massive run up. Price come back down. We've had support here, and we're now back at this level. So you can see the wedge formation on the daily. If we go down to the 4 hour, we can see that we've got confirmed triple bullish divergence. It's confirmed. We're still waiting to see a reaction from it. But as a trade goes, this has great risk to reward. As you know, you've got a well-defined stop loss below these lows, and you can target. You can be looking at a 4 risk to reward if you're targeting this level here. GMIA, we spoke about this last week. It's broke out of the wedge. It's also got confirmed triple divergence on the 4 hour, but we've not really seen that much of a sustained move. So once again, risk to reward on this is quite good. You can cut your losses below this most recent low, and you can target the 0.382 fib, which alone would give you a 3 risk to reward trade. So some kind of noticeable, some, that's what I'm looking for here. Some notable mentions, there we go. The VNQ, the Real Estate Vanguard ETF. It is forming this perfect descending channel at the moment, with a well-respected midline. Price approaching that midline. There's no technicals here for a trade, but interesting to keep an eye on and see how price plays out, whether we get a break to the upside or a break to the downside. BX, so Blackstone, this is a massive financial asset management company. On the daily, not too interesting. However, on the weekly, we have got this massive falling wedge pattern with bullish divergence currently developing. Not yet confirmed, but be interesting to see how this plays out over the next couple of weeks. Dow, let's see what we've got going on here. So we had the falling wedge pattern. On the daily, we can see we had the bullish divergence, which played out. We've got the break of the wedge, and now we're looking for a retest and potential further upside. First Solar, so I've had this one on my watch list for a while now. We've got this long-term supply line, resistance here, dynamic resistance here, resistance here. We had big bearish divergence, which didn't really play out. I did enter a position here, but was stopped out on this high. So now we're seeing that we got a big daily rejection off the level last week, and we could have potential for bearish divergence developing here as long as this high isn't taken out. So we'll be keeping an eye on this one. And then finally, we've got Newmont Corporation. This one is a mining stock, but interesting how it's forming within this range. Could be seen as almost like a bear flag, so there's no there's no technicals that are telling me this is going to break to upside or downside. We just need to wait and see where it goes, and then we can react accordingly from there. So guys, that was the highlights of my scan this week. Hopefully you can take some value from it. There were some potential trade setups in there. So if you found this valuable, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. If there's any stocks that you want to see analysed yourself, comment them down below, and I'll try and get to them before next week. Thanks very much.